learn how to disconnect emotionally, and it took me years to do that.
Mm-hmm.
There were times that I would not only leave there, but there were times when I worked at Girls Inc., probably Girls Inc. more than any, that I couldn't get home because I had to pull over because I just had to cry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stories that are just unbelievable to me. Yeah. So I was fully equipped. I left here not only equipped academically to compete, but my personality was honed here.
Mm-hmm.
I came here kind of rowdy. Yeah, even though I was brought up in a very, I told you my household was very firm and consistent. I had this edge that, and still had some anger that I needed to deal with, that had I not become a member of a fraternity to help harness that and turn that energy into something positive, that I could have gotten in trouble.
Mm-hmm. So what role did the fraternity have in your time here?
I had good order. I came up. I was YMCA, Boy Scouts. I was brought up in organizations whose purpose was to help mold you holistically, and so I had all of that in me. I just needed to mature.
Mm-hmm.
The day that I came to school, my grandmother sat down with me, and she was the world's best at giving these little speeches, and she said, "Sweetheart, I have no doubt that you will be successful. I just know that." She said, "But there's one thing I want you to learn, because if you don't, it will be the death of you. You need to learn to control your temper."
Mm-hmm.
She knew me.
Mm-hmm.
She'd seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't lash out, but that passive aggressive stuff, and the older I got, the less passive it became.
Mm-hmm.
I challenged everybody.
That was also the way of I guess the Black Power movement was. It was about the time maybe as well.
It was. Yeah, and so I didn't challenge just white America. I challenged everybody.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't sound right, and you want me to do something, or you want me to learn something just because you said so, that's not good enough. Because who are you? Who are you to tell me what I need to learn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so the fraternity did help me to mature.
Did you join the fraternity because you'd always been involved with organizations and that just made sense, or why did
I joined because I was in a situation where I knew I needed to get in somebody's group, because how do I put this? I had that edge that said, if you don't, you're going to get kicked out of school.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had some challenges here in a dorm, and I was real clear. Guys, if you touch me, because there were some games going on all the time.
How do you mean?
In the dorm, we had seven African Americans all in the same area, and the guys wanted to play the freshman hazing game. Because I know that at one point freshmen wore beanies. That's historical. Tossing you in G Lake was one of them. Guys, we're going to throw you in G Lake. I don't think you are. I don't think you're going to throw me in G Lake. And so those kinds of things I didn't like, even though it was just kind of part of the heritage here.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't part of my heritage.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I had some issues, and I recognized that fraternities there was more power in groups than an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fraternity I joined, the members of that fraternity were more like me, and that's why I joined.
And what were they like? Were these this is a black fraternity.
Right.
That the goal, the stated mission of this fraternity is what?
Yeah, it's brotherhood was what it's all about. Understanding. They pushed African American history because we had to learn a lot of history. There's poetry that I still know. As a matter of fact, there's a poem that every member of my fraternity all over the world know. We know it. I mean, it's taught. It's manly deeds and scholarship. I mean, we were to be gentlemen. You were to be scholarly. You were to grow to become a responsible citizen.
Did NAACP have ties with this particular fraternity? Were its no? Okay.
No.
Were any of its were any of your fraternity brothers members?
They probably were.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm interested in how you came to know when you saw this, when you experienced this terrible incident in Commerce, that writing letters to NAACP was a way to get some.
Well, growing up, NAACP was, they had a strong NAACP chapter in Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was aware of them. There wasn't another group that I knew of that was carrying the banner for African Americans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this group would not be your fraternity wasn't a political arm. It was
No.
it was a cultural arm.
Right.
It was a brotherhood,
Right.
character building
Right,
arm.
a social fraternity.
Mm-hmm.
What relationship did your fraternity have to the white fraternities?
We had, as a matter of fact, I was our representative. What was called the Interfraternal Council. Met with them monthly with members of leadership of all the fraternities. We were all competitive in intramurals, competitive with GPAs. Ken Hobart, who lives here, is Sigma Chi. Ken Hobart, in the yearbook, there is a picture of Ken Hobart in IFC. I've known him all those years, and we had respect for them because we just did.
Okay.
Can't really tell you what that was. The KAs, the strong fraternities here were the KAs, the Delts, the Sigma Chi's, Sig Eps. Sig Eps is no longer here. They were probably more personality-wise like us. Lambda Chi. So they had some strong fraternities. There were only until my senior year. There were only two African American fraternities.
Okay, and those were what?
Alpha Phi Alpha and Omega Psi Phi. And then end of my junior year, Kappa Alpha Psi came on campus, and that's the group that Mr. Moore was a part of.
Did which of those fraternities would have been marked as the party one?
Probably us.
Okay.
Us. Wow. The white fraternities, Sig Eps, Sigma Chi. Well, I guess technically we all were party fraternities.
Okay.
And because everybody had fraternity houses.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a gathering place, unlike now. And they were fraternity houses provided by the university. And so we had houses on campus.
Where was the how was the house configured, and how often, and of what sort were these parties? Were there any like annual?
Whenever we felt like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. As I live down from the Delta Tau Delta, I know it's Thursday night for sure.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Sometimes Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But because we lived